It's funny, I was actually planning on coming on here and ranting a little bit if it weren't for that last little clip at the end of episode 10 of So I'm a Spider, So What. But yeah, just watch this episode. Kind of enjoying a lot more than I was previously. I think as they when they did the whole time difference thing come to light, I think my enjoyment of the series started kind of going up. But yeah, it was a solid episode of So I'm a Spider, So What. It kind of confirms a lot of the things that we were suspecting with the last episode. They kind of revealed the fact that Julius had this sash that his mother had made that was made from the silk of what was obviously Kumiko. But like I said before, they never really ever still kind of confirm that time is going at a different rate here in the two stories. Not a different rate, but that you don't have 15 years actually going past with Kumiko's what seems like a very brief time that we've seen her story play out. Whereas, like I said, the other side initially it skipped forward 15 years, whereas Kumiko it started at birth and has been kind of slowly progressing, seemingly just not even a year. It has progressed with her because, as we find out in this particular episode, we run into a wizard Ronant, and he tells a cadet or another soldier the story of 15 years ago when he and who was it? Birimus went down into the Great Elroy Labyrinth, where a lot of monsters were fleeing from, and they had reports that there was a spider down there that was in, was a possibly S class rank, and they were going down there in order to stop it because it was driving monsters out of the labyrinth. And when they get down there, and he mentioned that it was 15 years ago, and then when down there, they ran into what looked like exactly the spider that we seen Julius fight at some point that the demon lord seemingly stopped from defeating Julius. And that was kind of the interesting thing, is it as the episode was playing the story out, I'm like, this is obviously Kumiko, but it doesn't look like Kumiko. And my thought process at that point was shifting to, oh, this is going to be one of those cases where this is what they see versus what we see, how Kumiko looks. And it also had like this moment of time where it looked like it was trying to communicate was saying something, but it was just kind of monster gibberish. And so I'm like, I wonder if that's kind of confirming that, which is kind of upsetting. I'm sure she'll get some kind of skill later to be able to communicate to the rest of the class, but obviously that she cannot communicate to humans, and that's going to create that barrier. I'm sure that they're going to have that moment where the rest of the class meet up with Kumiko, and she's not going to be able to communicate to them. But we'll see though. We'll see. But no, it was kind of, it seemed very obvious that this was Kumiko, and this is the point in which she was possibly reaching the upper area of this particular labyrinth. And but it wasn't. It didn't look like her. It looked like this other one that, like I said, the demon lord defeated. And it wasn't until like that after cast part where I'm like, suddenly Kimiko's yelling about how these guys invaded and it was self defense, and I'm like, okay, thank you. They're finally putting this entire idea to perfect rest. The only thing that still remains that we haven't confirmed at this point that we got into last episode is the aspect of, is she the demon lord that everybody is following in this war, which again seems like they've pretty much confirmed it because they have this when Ronant is talking about the spider specifically, it cuts to her, and so it kind of seems pretty obvious at this point. But I mean, they could still the story could still pull the rug from underneath us. I mean, it could still be one of those things where it's trying to imply that this is her, and then you kind of find out no, it's not her, and Kumiko's has to defeat her or something. I'm at this point kind of theorizing that the way they're going with the story, because I don't think that Kumiko is this heartless being. I think it's going to play out something about, I don't know, the Administrator D mentions that if she does something, she can, stop this entire world or whatever, and she's going to go along with it. This idea, maybe, you have to become the Demon Lord and defeat all the humans or something like that. Because like they kind of mentioned in the last episode, the Demon Lord herself was saying, I have to defeat Julius. I'm sorry. I hope that such and such, which was Shun's real previous world name, I hope he'll, it won't hurt him too much or whatever. So again, obviously the Demon Lord is one of these students. they haven't confirmed yet that it's Kumiko. So yeah, other than that, they had the scene with the king talking to Shun, and Shun telling him that he's got the hero title, and they're obviously confirming that Julius has to be dead at this point. Another guy came in and confirmed that half of their fortress has been destroyed by the Demon Lord, and that a giant Tarectic has shown up to destroy one of them. The fortress that Bidamus is at is still standing. And that's I think pretty much all they pretty much had in this episode. Kumiko talked about getting some spatial magic so you can teleport like the knight. Yeah, I think that's about it. Then they were trying to figure out who the Administrator D was, and they were mentioning the fact that she has really good Japanese, and so that might be a sign that's their connection to the real world. But as she pointed out, which we all kind of agree, there's no point in even caring right now. It's not like it's going to change anything at this point. So, yeah. And they're going to keep the hero's death a secret until the front lines get back and word kind of spreads. But that's about it in this episode. It is one of those episodes where it was good, but it is one of those episodes where there really isn't much to talk about, because I think most of it's really just confirming a lot of the suspicions we were kind of building up and getting reveals in the previous episode. So, yeah. It'll be interesting going forward on what they're going to do with this. I kind of want to see more of the Demon Lord. I love her character design. I think she looks fantastic. Easily one of the best character designs in this show for sure, and a lot of other shows. So yeah. Oh, one other thing. I guess this is a good thing to kind of put some theorization into, which I'm always enjoy having a little bit of discussions. I know these videos are probably longer than some people hope, but I love talking about these kind of things. They told Shun that he has to leave the academy and start preparing because he's the hero. Nobody else can have the hero title until he dies. So they have to have him become the hero. There's no choice. So they told him to leave the academy and that he's going to start training. And this is kind of my biggest question that I have now at this point. Again, we don't know who told the teacher that they can't train. She said, don't raise your skills. And it seems like that was obviously because these isekai kids, they progress faster to the point where they become overpowered, they become demon lords or whatever, possibly. So now they've told Shun to level up. Is he going to do it? I mean, the teacher told him not to do it. He has to do it to save the world. Is there going to be side effects to it? So that is one curious question they've kind of posed with this episode. Well, technically this and the one with the teacher telling him that combined is there going to be repercussions for him raising his skills? Can he raise his skills? Is he going to be allowed to raise his skills? Will the teacher not allow him to? Will the teacher revert him? It's a pretty good question at this point. What's going to happen with that situation? Because, like I said, that she obviously does not want them to do it. And who? That's the big question: is who told the teacher that, and who's dictating that? How do they decide that? Is a really good question as well. So, yeah, solid episode. Again, episode 10 of Soma Spider So What. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please, as always, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I thank you all for watching. Appreciate your support, and y'all take care.